Let Garmin Support show you the setup and settings of your LiveScope 2 transducer. For this process, we'll be using the LVS42HD transducer on our Garmin SpyPole, Garmin Force Pro trolling motor, and the GPS Map 8612 XSV chart plotter. Almost every time you go out, water conditions can be different from the day before. Settings for one trip with your LiveScope may not work for the next. It's good to understand what each setting does to the LiveScope image to have consistent imaging. We will start with a new LiveScope setup for the first time and go through each setting. When you first get on the water, you will need to calibrate the LiveScope transducer. You can start in any orientation. We will start in forward view. On the chart plotter, select Home, Sonar, then select the LiveScope icon. Select Options or the three dots in the bottom right. Then Sonar Setup, Installation, and then Orientation. Select Auto if you are planning to switch the orientation of the transducer between the three views. This will enable the orientation to switch automatically. You can select one of the other options: forward, down, or perspective if you do not plan on switching the orientation of the LiveScope transducer. Next, select Calibrate Compass in the LiveScope installation menu. Follow the on-screen instructions, then select Begin. Calibrating the transducer in forward view will not calibrate your down or perspective views. You can only have one calibration for one view at a time. If you calibrate it in forward mode, then switch views and calibrate in down mode, your forward calibration will be lost and will need to be calibrated again. Once the LiveScope transducer has been calibrated, select OK to confirm. Press back to start at the LiveScope sonar screen. Now, we will look into the sonar settings for the LiveScope image. The three main settings requiring adjustment based on varying water conditions will be gain, depth range, and forward range. These settings are on the LiveScope screen to be easily adjusted as needed. The gain setting is used to see your targets and bottom. High gain values provide returns for objects of all sizes and surface types. Low gain values will filter out smaller objects and softer surfaces. While gain value will vary based on user preference, the general goal is to strike a balance between providing solid targets while not introducing an overwhelming amount of additional clutter. Depth range controls the maximum depth directly below the transducer that can be viewed on screen. You can toggle your depth range from auto to manual. Auto will keep the lake or sea bottom in view and will change as the depth changes. Use manual to view a specific portion of the water column on screen and include anything below the chosen value. Forward range controls the maximum distance ahead or forward of the transducer that can be viewed on screen. Water clarity determines effective forward range. Clearer water allows for greater range. Water depth determines the maximum effective forward range. The ratio on the auto setting is approximately 4:1, 4 feet forward for every 1 foot down. Select Options or the three dots in the bottom of the LiveScope sonar page, then select Sonar Setup. Next, we will look into the advanced settings of your LiveScope. This includes Noise Reject, Ghost Reject, TVG, Appearance, Layout, and Installation settings. Let's look at Noise Reject. Noise Reject, available now with Perspective View, attempts to eliminate interference or technology-produced returns that are not actual objects in the water. Real objects can be impacted by adjustments to this setting, but not to any significant degree. A low setting will filter out noise created by trolling motors as well as nearby transducers that are operating at a similar frequency. Medium has the capabilities of the low setting, but also filters out artifacts created from hard surfaces like a false bottom. A high setting will have the same capabilities of the medium settings, but with an additional filter to eliminate flickering noise. Keep in mind, a higher setting can create a slower refresh rate in the image. Now, let's look at the Ghost Reject setting. Unlike Noise Reject, which examines a broad array of target types, the Ghost Reject setting's sole focus is on reducing the occurrence of duplicated or reflected returns. False bottoms in ghost trees are examples of this behavior and can be produced when hard bottom surfaces are present. The auto setting in Ghost Reject will allow the LiveScope frequency to even out across the sonar image, steering the power dynamically. We also have low, medium, and high settings that can be adjusted for Ghost Reject. Next is Time Varying Gain, or TVG. This setting is used to lessen the impact depth has on the brightness of returns. By raising the setting, returns near the surface will dim slightly and deeper returns will become brighter. Choose from low, medium, or high. The low setting is generally the best starting point. Raising too high may aggressively filter and hide desired targets in shallow water. Now we will look at the appearance settings under Sonar Setup. First is Color Scheme. You can select from a set of 15 predetermined color schemes. Some color schemes look different when a chart plotter is set to night mode. As a result, some color schemes may work better depending on the time of day. The color gain setting is used to tune the colors of returns higher or lower on the range of available colors. This range is dependent on the chosen color scheme. Use a higher color gain setting to make strong returns brighter, making certain objects pop on screen. Use a lower color gain setting to flatten returns to a similar brightness. Next is the color limit setting. Color limit determines which colors from the current color scheme will be visible for sonar returns. Use a lower color limit setting to limit or filter out weak sonar returns. Use a higher color limit setting to limit or filter out stronger sonar returns. Trails will show the movement of a target and leave a trail behind the image. This setting can be changed from off, slow, medium, and fast. Bottom fill colors the bottom to distinguish it from the water returns. This setting is not available in perspective view. Next, in the Sonar Setup settings is Layout. Grid Overlay shows a grid of range lines on the sonar screen for forward and down views. Radial is an option only shown under perspective view. Scroll History shows the sonar history on the side of the screen. This is not available in perspective view. Beam Icon selects the icon used to show the direction of the transducer beam. On-screen control shows the on-screen buttons like gain, forward range, and depth range. Reverse range adjusts the amount of range shown behind the transducer. Compressed range in forward view compresses the forward range farther away from the vessel and expands the range closer to the vessel. This allows you to see objects clearly while keeping farther objects on the screen. Flip Horizontal is a new setting in one of our most recent software updates to flip the image to show left to right. Next is the installation settings under Sonar Setup. Install depth sets the depth below the waterline where the LiveScope transducer is mounted. Entering the actual depth the transducer is mounted results in a more accurate visual presentation of what is in the water. In stabilization, you have the ability to enable or disable auto stabilization. Enabled allows the internal attitude heading sensors to detect the installation angle of the LiveScope transducer automatically. When this setting is turned on, you cannot manually specify the installation angle for the transducer. When toggled off, the pitch angle will be available to choose. This allows you to enter the specific installation angle for the transducer. Many forward view transducers are installed at a 45-degree angle, and down view transducers are installed at a 0-degree angle. Flipped is also an option when auto stabilize is turned off. This sets the orientation of the LiveScope view when the down view transducer is installed with the cable pointing toward the port side of the vessel. Calibrate Compass calibrates the LiveScope AHRS sensor. Orientation controls the transducer in forward, down, or perspective mode. Auto uses the AHRS sensor to determine the orientation of the LiveScope transducer. Focus adjusts the LiveScope view to compensate for the speed of sound in water. The auto setting uses the temperature of the water to calculate the speed of sound. Heading source allows the system to reference the heading source from either the transducer or a compatible Garmin trolling motor. This may help avoid interference from the trolling motor when the transducer is installed on the barrel. This setting only appears when a compatible Garmin trolling motor is detected. Transducer mount offset adjusts the reference heading to match the actual heading if needed. This setting only appears when a Garmin trolling motor is set as the heading source. Water detection setting is only available with LiveScope 2 transducers. You can toggle the water detection sensor on or off on the LiveScope 2 transducer. If your transducer is in the water and is not detecting itself in the water, then this setting can be turned off to enable sonar. Do not toggle the setting off when the transducer is not in the water. The last setting we will look at is to restore the sonar default. This will restore sonar to factory default. If performing a restore sonar default, you will need to calibrate the LiveScope transducer again. And that's it. Thanks for watching. For more help, please visit our Garmin product support YouTube page or marinesupport.garmin.com.